there, welcome back to my channel. So today I can barely contain my excitement, you guys. I have a video I'm so excited to film for you guys. You can see from the title, you know what's happening. It is the Vibrant Cities haul, first impressions, review, everything in one. You guys, you know, if you know me, there is nothing quite like a Zara Jo Malone collection collaboration to get me all in a tizzy. And this has been they really have just nailed it, I think, this time around. I mean, I've literally not smelled a single thing, but with everything I've liked from previous times, they've really gone above and beyond. If you follow me on Instagram, then you know, just a quick little story time before we get started, then you know I've been anticipating this launch for a long time. So many of you messaged and emailed and commented and told me that this was coming out just in case I'd miss it, which I love because you guys just get me. You understand how obsessed I was. And I needed the gift set because the gift set has the entire fragrance line, all 8 fragrances in the 40 mils. The 40 mils are back, you guys. I like to feel like Zara and Jo Malone herself heard me. They watched the videos and they understood that we needed the 40 mils and they came through. More likely than not, it had nothing to do with me, but I like to believe there was a reason for that. And I really did contemplate getting the 90 mils, like the full sizes, because this time around they have like this metal overlay, or at least like metal looking overlay. So I was debating it, but there's a full collection and it just would have been so much money and so many mils. So I went with the gift set and it's here. Okay, so this is what the gift set looks like. Look at her, so beautiful. Not only did they listen to the 40 mil thing that I said, but they really knew that travel is my passion. They really knew that fragrances while traveling is my shtick. And again, I feel like this collection was made for me and it was made for me. And that is not the case, but that is what I'm choosing to believe. So without any further ado, we will get into it. I have not smelled a single thing. I have not even removed the individual boxes from this gift set. I will be keeping them in this gift set. That is how devoted and excited I am, and I never keep anything in the gift set. So without any further ado, we will get started. If you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. All that good stuff and more is in the description box below, and let's get into it. All right, so I have not watched any reviews on this, but I have seen like mini reviews on Instagram of a couple of people I follow that I love. And so I have an idea from them and what they anticipate I would like, or just kind of like a little idea of what it ended up smelling like to them. But other than that, I've specifically not watched any videos on these, and I'm gonna try my best to get this out as soon as possible. I already posted about it on Instagram when I first got this box, so you'll see. I said when I posted that it's gonna take me a week to get this up. I don't think it will. I think I'm going to just delay everything else in the works and put this up for you guys ASAP because I'm just that crazy about it and I can't wait. So we're gonna start with Seoul. If you guys weren't aware, and if you're not crazy obsessed like I am, then this is a collection called Vibrant Cities from Zara, and each one of the cities has its own fragrance and color and notes, and it's another one of these collaborations with Jo Malone or Jo Loves. So we're gonna start with Seoul, and I just realized, of course, they're all taped down and I did not bring any scissors, so I'm just gonna have to use my nails to get in there, but it seems easy. So I think they all have quotes this time. The last time around, or a lot of the times, it ends up being kind of like the same quote for each place, but this is Boldly Seoul, and it's discovering its unique beauty is the quote. We are gonna get into it. The notes for this, and there's like 3 notes for each that are listed. The notes for Seoul are violet, mimosa, and musk, which makes me think like in my mind, it's gonna be my favorite. Oh my God, I didn't realize how adorable each one, I'm assuming, is gonna have a postcard for the place. I just love this. I love this so much. If I ever have my own fragrance line, I'm gonna do something with cities or traveling or countries or whatever, because this just speaks to me. So yeah, Very excited. I really should have brought some sort of scent strips because there's 8 fragrances, but alas I didn't, and I just love smelling them on me anyways. So let's start. Oh, I'm so excited. I can't believe it. I feel like a little kid on Christmas, but whew, this is the first one. I've waited so long. Let's see. Okay. Totally raw first impressions. The first thing I'm reminded of Boldly Soul is Big shampoo from Lush, including the body splash, because I actually do own the body splash called Big, which is supposed to smell like the shampoo. It's reminiscent of that. It really does have the kind of like salty floralness to it. It smells very similar to it. I would say this is slightly more sweet. Yeah, I'd say it's a little more sweet than what Big smells like, but very reminiscent, kind of like slightly powdery and fuzzy florals, I would say. I smell some sort of like bergamot citrus in this, which aren't listed in the notes, but it's definitely in Big, and I smell it in here as well. It's definitely got some musk in there, but I wouldn't say it's like really, really musky. And I also wouldn't immediately say that this is like a violet bomb fragrance either. I don't know, it's so reminiscent of that Big that's like really what I'm getting, which is great. I mean, I love that scent. I own that scent, so I wasn't expecting this to smell like that. Yeah, I would say it's like a tinge sweeter and maybe a little bit more like musky. And that one's a little more fresh. But yeah, Boldly Sold, discovering its unique beauty, #1. We will put it back in the box, move it aside, and keep going. So the second city and fragrance that we're gonna do is actually Shanghai, and this one's called Creatively Shanghai. So the quote for this one is past, present, and future in one breath. And this one lists mandarin, cardamom, and cedar. So I'm certainly a little more nervous about this one as a scent. Oh, I forgot, there's a sticker as always. Just getting a little bit excited and in over my head. Oh my God, I literally couldn't believe, like, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I really, really like this cute idea. I'll have to go ahead and like take all of these out once I'm done with the boxes, because I do think I'd like to keep the fragrances in the set, or at least for a little while, because it's just so cute. So here we go, Creatively Shanghai. I'm expecting a lot more spice, obviously. I'm expecting for this to be a little bit more out of my comfort zone, but you never know. The first one certainly surprised me, so I'm curious whether this one. Oh my God, it really... Wait, why do I love this? This really reminds me of like... Okay, this is a very strong mandarin note, and I think that's what's really like a mandarin cardamom, but the mandarin is so pronounced. It's immediately reminding me of, and maybe this isn't like a selling point to everyone, but it reminds me of those like vitamin C packets that you mix with water, the orange mandarin ones. Like they don't quite smell like orange juice. They kind of have like a minerally scent to them actually, and taste obviously, because they're quite literally vitamins and minerals, but that have been flavored orange mandarin. This smells so much like that. I'm curious whether it's gonna get like more cardamom like, because right now it's so faint. Like I can smell it, I think even more now, because I know that it's a note, but I wonder if I was just smelling this blind, I feel like I'd only really pick up like a mandarin orange minerally scent. It almost has like a, yeah, it kind of smells like orange mandarin vitamins to me. it's interesting because it's so reminiscent of that vitamin C. I think it's called like High C. No, it's not called High C, but I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Just those like packets that you mix in with water. Sometimes people take them before and after flights and stuff. Yeah. Okay. Well, that is creatively Shanghai, past, present, and future in one breath is the quote. And for now, it's probably somewhere in the middle. I will obviously put all of my fragrances in order as I always do at the end. But for right now, I'm going to let that one sit and see if it develops into something else. All right, the next one is my favorite one in terms of color, in terms of packaging, which I know means nothing, but it's my favorite. And that's Tokyo. So that's Elegantly Tokyo. And the quote is, "A celebration of destiny." I just love this kind of like light sage green, I suppose. And the notes for this are lily, jasmine, and a note I'd never heard before or I'd seen before. It's Akigala wood. So I'm curious. Definitely, if I'm seeing a new note, that's something that's so intriguing. Oh my God, the postcard for this one is, whoa. Okay, I think this might be a fluke or it might be a sign, but I did get 2 gift cards of Tokyo, which is great because I just feel like that's a sign. That's a sign that I waited so long, so very impatiently, but so very long. And I'm going to take that as a sign that Zara just knew me and wanted to give me a sign that they love me too, because I'm crazy like that. So yeah, this is Elegantly Tokyo, like I said, and the notes for this one, I already said, I am intrigued because the notes for this one included lily in its opening, and that's a divisive note for me. Like if it gets a little, I don't know, we'll see. I'm intrigued. Maybe it'll be a selling point. What I've seen till now is they both surprised me. So maybe we're just in for a round of surprises because you never know. Wow. Okay, why does this have a candied violet scent to it? Oh my God, I'm obsessed with this. This is so, so beautiful. It really does smell a bit like candied violets. Honestly, a bit, at least on my skin, I don't know. I haven't seen any other reviews. Maybe everyone's saying this, but the candied violet in this is like an Insolence by Guerlain candied violet. I'm not saying they're dupes or anything, but I really get that kind of sugared candied floral, like powdery floral. It's not at all the kind of lily that bothers me, thank God. And I wouldn't say, I do get jasmine, but I wouldn't, it's like over, I don't know if it's, maybe it's the combination of lily and jasmine are giving me candied violet, but that is what I'm getting. I obviously don't know what Akigala wood smells like. If this is what it smells like, then this is my new favorite note. I'm obsessed with it and I want Akigala wood in everything, but it's hard for me to say because I genuinely have no idea. It doesn't smell particularly woody to me. It smells like a powdery, like a candied powdery floral. It smells sweet, but I wouldn't say it smells very sweet, but I wouldn't say it's like sickly. Because for me, for things to get sickly, they have to kind of be syrupy and dense. And this isn't that. It's beautiful. 100% it's my favorite so far. I'm glad it is because it's also my favorite color. Tokyo is one of the places I most want to visit in the world. So that's great. I like the quote, "A celebration of destiny." I got 2 postcards. Everything's really looking up for this one. I wasn't expecting it, but I really, really do like this one. So we're just gonna move swiftly along because I think I could get stuck here. That's the first one that's making me feel like I need a 100 ml bottle. I won't do it. I probably won't, but I'm obsessed. So we will have to just move along and move to New York. So New York's is in this kind of beige cream, and that's called Energetically New York, and the quote is, "Ignited imaginations will change the world." And I think that's a really suitable New York quote. I think it just matches the whole vibe of all these creative people coming together to try to make it work. The postcard is a Flatiron building, so works. And I mean, it's supposed to be the city that never sleeps, so energetically New York matches for sure. The notes for this one are cardamom, jasmine, and sandalwood. So there's a lot of cardamom going on in this collection. And yeah, let's discover it together. Wait, why do I love it? Oh my God, it smells so good. Again, I don't get a whole lot of cardamom. I definitely get a very fresh, I don't know how to put it really, but maybe like a, I'm getting a little more cardamom, but I get a bit of a fresh citrus in this. That's not too tart. It's definitely not sweet. It doesn't smell like the sweet mandarin that I got before, but I would say, like, blindly, if I was not to read the notes, I get more of like a bergamot citrus than a jasmine per se. There is some cardamom, but again, not too strong. There is a really beautiful, like, soft woodiness that maybe will be more pronounced in the dry down. It's sitting more so than anything else thus far. It's sitting pretty close to the skin. It might be because I've sprayed it in the most awkward spot ever, because I'm just all over the place. So excited for this unboxing. But it does seem like it's sitting a little bit closer to the skin, and it seems like maybe it wouldn't have the best lasting power compared to the others. But again, this is all first impressions. I am more than happy to do a second impressions of just this series alone, like, I don't know, in 2 weeks or so, if you guys are interested. But I wanted to get this out as soon as possible because when I put them in order, before I film that part, I always take a beat anyways, so you guys will kind of get a mini second impressions anyways. Yeah, I really like it. It's really, I would say it's energizing. It kind of reminds me of the sort of scent that like an energizing body wash or shampoo would have, but it's not shampoo-y or soapy in the least. I don't think there is, at least on my skin, a very pronounced cardamom. So if you went into this expecting perhaps like a spicier, maybe more spiced scent, I would tend to disagree. I still really, really like it because I don't necessarily love every spicy scent out there, but I feel like it's much more subdued on the cardamom and a lot more heightened on the fresh and the citrus and just like the zingy part of that scent. So that is energetically New York. All right, now the next one is going to be London. I won't lie. It's fashionably London, I should say. I'm pretty nervous about this one, not because any of the notes are at all like hard to imagine or that there aren't my favorites, but I think that I'm afraid that this one's going to be generic. Smelling the other London fragrance that I had, the Flower Fields or what have you from the Zara collection, where it was Tokyo and Lisbon and London and Paris. The London one was the most boring, and I'm afraid that this, because it's usually with London scents, it's always got like a rose in there, and then it just ends up smelling like so many other rose-centric fragrances out there. But I'm happy to be proven wrong. So Fashionably London's quote is, "Its soulful heartbeat always plays its own song." And there is high expectations because Jo Malone is from London. She's from England. So, you know, hopefully she did her city and country proud. This one has bergamot, rose, and musk. So like I said, I mean, I do like the color. It's kind of like blush pink. Blush dusty pink, I would say, but I'm just worried. I'm worried that this is the postcard. Very nice. I'm worried that it's going to be a little bit been there, done that. And I do love rose, but with that means I have a lot of rose fragrances, and it takes more and more to not even just impress me, but to have something that I haven't smelled. So let's see. Fashionably London, is it the next best rose? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna say straight off the bat, it doesn't immediately smell generic to me. There is a sort of, I actually like it. There is a sort of like gourmand nature to the rose in this. It's almost a jammy rose, I would say. Yeah, it's almost a jammy rose, which I wasn't expecting. I was expecting it to smell a lot more like Bulgari rose fragrances, or even Acqua di Parma's Rosa Nobile. But there's a really nice gourmand rose that's jammy that I'm really liking. The citrus or the bergamot in the opening is not very heightened or pronounced, which actually I'm happy about. As much as I love bergamot, a citrus rose would have smelled like so many of those Acqua di Parmas and such that I mentioned. And I like how it's actually, I don't know, it smells gourmand. It's not too powdery, it's not too like musky, it's not a makeup-y rose. So if any of those things bother you, rest assured, it's in no way a powdery makeup-y rose. It has a quality to it, and I hope I'm not going crazy, but it almost has a quality of like a faint bubblegum scent. Maybe it's just the jamminess of this one, but it does have like a little bit of a bubblegummy thing, which I'm loving, which is so unexpected. Wow, okay, Fashionably London. I was not expecting to be wowed. This one was the one I was most thinking was just gonna smell like your run-of-the-mill scent. Credit where credit's due. Right now, as a first impression, that honestly impressed me. I like it. I'm gonna call it like a faint bubble gum, because I can smell that. But yeah, I'm curious. I'm so curious to see what you guys think and what you interpret when you get yours. But that's what I'm getting for London. The next one I have high expectations for a whole other reason, and that is the Madrid one. So this is Gracefully Madrid. You guys know I've lived there before. I have a very special like love for Spain in general, and I just hold that country. It's very near and dear to my heart. So there's a lot riding on Gracefully Madrid, but I also don't want to be disappointed, and I want to have kind of like lower expectations, because then, you know, it can't really let me down. Also, the notes are orange, geranium, and musk. You never know, but the other ones have really surprised me thus far, so I'm just gonna have to just trust the process. The quote for this one is, "Believe it is possible because it is." It's so beautiful. So beautiful for Madrid. Oh my God. And the postcard. Wow. Stunning. It's really nice when you have actually been to these locations to like recognize the places and the memories that you've had there. But one day I will make it to all of these 8 cities. One day. So this one's Gracefully Madrid. I have to say, I'm not super like well versed in geranium in general. Like, it's not a note I frequent often. So let's see. Gracefully Madrid. Madrid, don't let me down. Let's see what we think. Okay. Right off the bat, it's very orange forward. Very, very, very orange forward. Almost orange with a little bit of greenness to it, which might be the geranium, but it's not a green, like very earthy note. It's just, yeah, it's just got like a little bit of green leafiness to it, but it's not at all earthy. I wouldn't say it's musky either. It's kind of like a fresh 80% citrus, 20% greenness to it. Almost like you're smelling like the full-on orange tree with its leaves and branches and everything. But I have to say it kind of is reminding me of a bunch of like the orange centric 4711s. It just smells very natural smelling, which I know Jo Malone in general really favors that sort of scent, or those sort of scents that are a little bit more simple and refined and really only smell like one or two things at a time. Her original line was a lot like that because it was meant for layering. This kind of feels like that. It really does smell like a layering type scent. It smells the most simple. It smells the most straightforward out of everything so far. And it seems the less complex, I would say. Not to say that it's bad. I like that it's not getting too earthy or too like almost like dirty smelling, and it's still fresh and bright and all of those things. But I don't know if I would have picked that for Madrid, I would say. I mean, we definitely had oranges and orange juice a lot there, but I don't know if this is what I would go with Madrid. I feel like there could have been... Madrid is such an interesting city, and it's so multifaceted, and Spain in general is so beautiful, and there's so many aspects to its culture that this is the first one where I'm like, this could have been something else. This could have been not so straightforward. But anyways, that is Gracefully Madrid. I kind of figured I'd have to be somewhat, I don't want to say disappointed, but just like thrown in for a loop at some point. And this is pretty late in the game to have had a kind of shocking moment. So we will leave it there. And of course we will just move along, and then we'll see where it falls near the end. All right, so the second last one is one I've heard good things about in the few reviews I've seen on Instagram, and that is Magnificently Dubai. And the quote for this one's from sunrise to sunset, bathed in adventure. So very excited for this one. It seems to be well liked, or at least people find it interesting. And this lists saffron, nutmeg, and leather. So, you know, we will see. Definitely has some Middle Eastern notes in there, so it makes sense. Here's the postcard, which is very nice with the palm trees and everything. Oh, I'd love to be somewhere warm right now. So here we go. Let's see what we think of Magnificently Dubai. I think this is the first one note-wise that it's a little darker smelling. Oh, it's still not dark enough. Like, I still get so much citrus in this. This is like a very citrus forward collection. Even when it's not listed, there's definitely some citrus. Okay. There is immediately kind of like a smokiness that I'm getting, that I love. That I hope to God that as it develops, it kind of subdues on the citrus and really leans into this like, this kind of smokiness or incense vibe that I'm getting, much more than leather and nutmeg. I get more of like an incensey, and even saffron. I love it immediately. I think it's really interesting. I think it's a very different direction for Jo Malone to go into. I mean, not necessarily completely different, but it's more out of her regular comfort zone that we're probably all familiar with. It's a little bit more adventurous. It's a little bit more unsafe. I do see people maybe struggling because it has a quality to it that is kind of, I don't even know if earthy is the best way to put it, but it's not sweet. So the maybe nutty, incense, woody, saffron, like everything within the fragrance doesn't lean sweet. It tends to lean a little bit more dark and a little bit more maybe even like edging towards being a little bit more dirty. It's dirty in the way that like Jo Malone would do it, in the sense that it's so like it's nowhere where a niche house might go above and beyond. Like Amouage, if they wanted to go all the way, they can and they do, and it's very beautiful for some, but hard to swallow for others. This is, I think, still safe in the realm of what it was going for. But I can see how this might not be for everyone. It's the first one thus far that I feel like is the most niche smelling. But I personally am 100% here for it. Like, I really love it. It's really, really interesting to me. I can't wait to do a full wear test where I'm not smelling all of them of this one, because I feel like, especially in like fall, winter time, I think this one's going to really wear beautifully. And I'm very, very excited. So that's Magnificently Dubai. And the last one, I do really like the color of this one as well, so I've been curious, is Stunningly Venice. What a beautiful kind of subdued cornflower blue a little bit. And this one is Doorways of Light Tell Stories of Love, which might be my favorite. I don't know. It's one of my favorite of the quotes as well. This one lists bergamot, there you go, red berries, and myrrh. So at least this one's being honest about how much citrus is actually in there. I assume the canal is going to be the thing on the postcard. Oh no, it's not. Wow. Well, it is. It's one of the canals. There's little lines for water. So yeah, let's see. I have to say, again, this one I'm a little worried. Maybe it won't be as interesting, especially coming from, you know, coming back to back with Dubai, which I thought was the most interesting. Let's see what we think of Stunningly Venice. Oh, wait a minute. How does this has almost like a Lily of the Valley. I really like this one. This has almost a Lily of the Valley, but in a really nice way. No, you know what it smells like? Okay, I got it. This one smells, it smells a little bit like black currants. And I know it lists red berries, but it has like a currant smell to it. If you like, I forget that fragrance now, the name, I'll have to put up the name because I'm totally forgetting what it's called, but it's like Purple and Vines, and it was really popular like a year or two ago on YouTube. I'll just put up the name. If you like that, then I feel like you'd like this. There is a real currant vibe to it. Surprisingly, while there is citrus in this, and you can definitely smell it, it's not as strong as some of the others, which didn't even list citrus. I like this one. Again, I was really expecting this to be much more generic than it is. It almost has like this kind of ambery, I guess there's myrrh. It has a base to it that really grounds the scent that I think is interesting to have done, because it would have been so easy to make the Italian location just kind of airy and fresh and citrusy and like an eau de cologne, but it isn't that, and I like that. I like that there's currants to it. I like that or a currant vibe, or the red berries, I suppose. I like that there's more of a grounded, like not airy base. I really like this one. I have to say, Stunningly Venice is stunning to me. Again, pretty interesting. And I love when she goes a little bit outside of the box with these scents that she comes out with Jo Malone, or with Zara, I should say. So love that. And now we will put them in order. All right. I took several beats rather, and I have put them in order. It was not as difficult as I thought it was going to be, but it wasn't the easiest as well. Somewhere near 6, 7, and 8, more so, no, I would say 6 and 7. I was a little torn, but then it ended up being easier. So let's just put them in order. I am going to start with last place, which was the simplest one to put, and it does break my heart, but you've probably guessed it. In last place, I would put Gracefully Madrid. I just think out of the entire collection, it's the only one that smelled generic to me. Not that it smells, I mean, it does. It kind of just smells like a lot of other orange eau de colognes out there. It really is reminiscent of a bunch of 4711s that are orange scented, and of course I wear those, and I will wear this. There was nothing in this collection that I wouldn't wear. Let's start off there. I would wear every single one of them, which is great because I haven't always felt like that, but it's just a little bit been there, done that, and that's where her Zara collaborations always kind of differ for me. There's like the amazing ones where I'm mind blown that this could be so inexpensive and so amazing. And then there's ones where I'm like, okay, well, you know, it's just there. And that's just kind of what I felt like for this, which is disappointing. I love Madrid. I love, you know, the color that they chose, and I love the quote, but I think something more interesting could have been done. There was also a lot of like mandarin orange centric scents. I think there was 3 in a collection of 8, so that's almost half. And while there was a lot of citrus throughout, I think this one could have been something other than mandarin orange. It could have been, I don't know. I mean, there's like a million and one things that make me think of Spain. And it could have really been a really nice, actually like ambery, spicy floral. I think if it was a little bit of more, I don't know, if they went kind of like a flamenco dancer vibe, it could have been southern. I guess that's not Madrid, but it could have been something else. I think it was the least interesting. I will still wear it, but I've just got fragrances in my collection that are even less expensive than this that do what that does. So in 7th place, I actually put Creatively Shanghai. This is the one I believe that kind of smelled like another version of like a mandarin centric scent. It didn't have a lot of the cardamom, so I mean, it was slightly woody, I guess. Again, along the same lines, it was certainly more interesting to me. And if I was going to go in like a mandarin or orange way with this collection, I would pick Creatively Shanghai over the Madrid one. So, you know, they were similar in the ways that I didn't want them to be. Like the things that they were similar in are the things that I didn't like. And if I had to choose between the two, I would go for this one. If you are looking for something mandarin orange centric and you want to pick something from this collection, then I would go over Shanghai over Madrid. Then this one actually ended up being lower on my list than I was expecting. Or no, we'll get to it. So I put in 6th place, I put Energetically New York. This is another one where, see, this is what I mean. This had an element to it where I was very excited because I'm like, it really does match the kind of story or vibe that this was going for New York, because it's supposed to be so like zingy and energizing, and I'm just gonna spray this one. And it is that, it really is, but I felt like it didn't lean as much into the cardamom as I was hoping. It did as it started to wear on. I felt like I could smell it more, and the kind of citrusy opening subdued a little bit. I didn't get a lot of jasmine. It ended up just smelling like citrus, cardamom, and a little bit of woodiness to me. I did like it though. Certainly more interesting than the bottom 2, and I felt like it matched his vibe, but there were a lot of high contenders to be in like the top 3, 4, 5 in this collection. So just being better than the orange ones wasn't gonna cut it. So it's in 6th place. I do really like it though. Like I said, I like all of these scents. So, well, Madrid, but I like all of these scents. So there isn't really one where I can say like horrible things about, because I like this collection and I'm really happy with it. This one is the one that I thought was going to be like top 2 for sure. I actually thought it would be my favorite, and it's not. It's in 5th place, and that's Boldly Soul. Listen, I like it, but those top 4, they really were doing something. And Boldly Soul, with its notes like violet, mimosa, and musk, that seems almost written in the stars for me. It wasn't giving all that it should have been giving, in my opinion. I don't think it was very violet forward. It smelled a lot like Big Shampoo when I first sprayed it for like the first couple minutes. Then it sort of Like now as it's on my skin, it really smells like a really faint version of Big, with some citrus again. And it didn't even list it in the notes. I don't think it was violet heavy. I don't think it was even super mimosa heavy, but I got more mimosa than violet. And I was just expecting this Seoul to be a lot more powdery. It wasn't there. So I do like it though. Definitely like it, but it had to get bumped down. It wasn't gonna make it to the top 4. In 4th place, I'm surprised to say, is Magnificently Dubai. In some ways, this is my number 1. I will say, in some ways, this I think is the most interesting out of all the 8. It is the most intriguing. It is the most complex. It's also the most niche smelling. Like in those ways, it's number 1. The only reason it got bumped down to 4 is I think there are less occasions where I would wear this compared to the top 3, whereas those are more like I can grab and go any time of the day, any occasion. This maybe isn't an any occasion type scent, but for me personally, my nose and my taste, I love this. I absolutely love it. I think it is doing something different that I don't have at all in my collection, and that is by and large what I look for the most in a new fragrance now. With my sort of collection, if it can surprise me and say, okay, this smells different, then I'm happy. Even if it's not my favorite, I like when they smell different. I like when I can't immediately say, oh my God, it smells like this, this, and that. Like I couldn't really pull from anything for Magnificently Dubai. In 3rd place, Stunningly Venice. This also surprised me. I thought this one was going to be bottom 2 or bottom 3. In reality, it was actually my top 3. In 3rd place, Stunningly Venice just really surprised me. The red berries smell like currants, like I said. There is like a ambery myrrh, like there is just like a really strong, it's not a strong base, it's actually very soft, but there is like a grounded base to this that isn't airy and that isn't just flippant or anything. And I think it's a really beautiful homage to Venice. I think she did an incredible job. I love the color, I love the vibe. I will definitely be wearing this again. Very unique. It does sort of smell like that fragrance that I mentioned, but it's a lot more unique than some of the others, so I was happy with that. In 2nd place, I put Fashionably London. This also surprised me. I have to say, as it's wearing on my skin, it is sort of, I don't know, it's hard. There's definitely a rose fragrance in my collection. I'm trying to think what it is that this is like edging towards, but it's a jammy kind of gourmand and not a sickly jammy. It's a nice jammy rose, and I like the way that she didn't go super safe. I like how this isn't very citrus forward, even though it has bergamot as one of its 3 notes. I like how it's wearing compared to the others as well. I feel like this is staying pretty strong on my skin, whereas some of them have already, in that beat that I took, softened up. This one I feel like is just as strong as it was when I sprayed it. So I'm actually really into it, and it's in 2nd place for me. And then in 1st place, what a surprise, Elegantly Tokyo. Oh my God, I love it. There is, seriously, I don't know what it is, but at least in the opening, there was a real candied violet. It does, I will say now, and that's why 2nd impressions are important, it does kind of fade away, that super candied violet impression, at least that I got. It's still, like, I still get some violet in there though, but it must be the combination of lily, jasmine, and Akigala wood. Whatever Akigala wood is, I'm in for it, I'm here for it, and I'm loving it. This is my favorite color. They gave me 2 postcards because I think, again, they knew it'd be my favorite. And yeah, it's by and large, again, something really interesting. And the top 4, I would say my top 4 are really making me feel like I want to get those, I think 90 mils where they have the metal but I will probably hold off. If I do get them, you guys will know because I'll post about it on my Instagram. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this very fun video. I had a great time. I can't believe it's finally here. I've been like dreaming about it. And you guys know, if there was a Jo Malone Zara collection out there and it's available, I am on it. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. I hope it helps you guys in your purchases. I'm gonna try to get this out to you as soon as possible. And again, don't forget to leave me in the comments below which one of these you've tried or you'd like to try, especially if you're going into it blind. Let me know which ones kind of are picking your fancy. And yeah, I will see you next time. Bye.